Hello everyone, my name's Alan. I hope you're doing well. In this video we're going to talk about the material to be covered for the second week of ULAB 21-22. We're going to talk about some parts of Unit 5 of the book English for Academic Writing. Well, as you can see here, first of all we're going to talk about identifying and using reference words, and we will talk about how to identify and use discourse markers, analyze facts and opinions in text, and finally we will talk about making conclusions and inferences. Well, let's start with the first slide, which is about reference words. You know, there are generally three types of referencing. Some words, some sort of referencing is called anaphoric. We have cataphoric referencing, and finally we have exaphoric referencing. Well, let's see what they are. As you can see here, by the definition, we say anaphoric referencing is when a word or a phrase, by a phrase we mean a group of words, refer to something that has already been mentioned in the text. Well, we have examples. We say, for example, Ali has a new bike. Then in the following sentence, we say he loves it so much. You see, we have he and it. Both of them are anaphoric referencing. Why? Because he refers to Ali that has already been mentioned in the previous sentence. And it also refers to a new bike that has already been mentioned. We have other examples. Ali, who is my friend, loves his bike so much, who also refers back to Ali. So this is called anaphoric referencing. Well, on the other hand, we have cataphoric referencing, in which we have a word or a phrase that refers to, let's say, something that is going to be mentioned later, not earlier. Well, look at these examples. We say, they have made a big mistake. You see, they is a pronoun that refers to a word. But till then, before this sentence, we do not know what exactly it refers to. But later we say, the students should have explained to the teacher. So you say, they have made a big mistake. They refers to the students. But the students has not been mentioned earlier. It's mentioned later. Or we say it is interesting because mountain climbing teaches us to be brave. It refers to mountain climbing that is, let's say, after the word. So we have cataphoric referencing. We also have another type of referencing that we call exaphoric. Well, that is when a word or a phrase refers to something that actually does not exist. We say it is outside the text. An example is this. We say we have to submit the assignments before it gets late. You see, we say it gets late. It refers to the time, but the time has not been mentioned in the text. But we realize that when we say it gets late, we know that this it refers to the time. So we call this exaphoric references. Well, we have an example here, a short paragraph, which is about Bill Gates. When you go through the paragraph, you realize that we have many, let's say, words that refer to, let's say, things or people. As an example, we say Bill Gates is a man with an extraordinary personality. Then we say he believes in hard work. He in this sentence is anaphoric referencing because it refers to a word which is Bill Gates that has already been mentioned here. Or we say Bill Gates challenged himself to be successful in computer applications when he was first introduced to it. You see, in this sentence we have three words that refer to things or people. When itself is cataphoric referencing because we have not mentioned the time before that, and then we realize that by when we mean the time that he was first introduced to computers. So that is why we say when is a cataphoric referencing. But he is anaphoric because it refers to Bill Gates that has already been mentioned, and it is also anaphoric. So then you can read the rest of, let's say, the paragraph for yourself and analyze the type of referencing that we have here. So let's talk about discourse markers. You know, generally speaking, by discourse markers, we mean the words that we normally, but not always, use at the beginning of the sentence. And the purpose is to make it clear what exactly we're going to talk about. The purpose is also to make connections between the ideas that were already said or mentioned and the ideas, let's say, that we are going to mention later. What do you mean? Like, for example, when you are asked whether you like something or not, and then in the answer you start, let's say, using a discourse marker to tell you the truth, you know, the person is asking you about, for example, something that he or she might probably like. And then they ask you whether you like it or not. Then you say, to tell you the truth. So before you continue the rest of the sentence, it is clear that you're probably going to say no, because you say to tell you the truth at the beginning. So this is what we mean by making it clear what the message is or what we're going to say. So we have definitions for discourse markers, as you can see here. We say they are words or phrases which are used to link ideas in a text. They are transitional signals that show or guide readers from one idea to another. So discourse markers can play the role of transitions, the words that we use to join ideas together. By using discourse markers, readers can easily understand the flow of ideas in a text. So, when we talk about writing a standard paragraph, we say one element of writing a standard paragraph is actually to use transitions. Why? Because these transitions can connect the ideas and they create a smooth flow of ideas and sentences in the paragraph. The role of discourse markers, especially in the speaking, is actually the same. We have many different examples for these discourse markers. You yourself can also search for them. You can, read about the definition and the purpose why we use them. Examples are anyway, to tell you the truth, actually, absolutely, and many others. Well, analyzing facts and opinions in the text is another part of this unit. First, we need to have a definition for facts. We say facts are objective and they represent statements of truth. We have already discussed what we mean by objective and subjective. Very generally, we say when we say something is objective, it means this is a fact. This has already been proved. We don't need to, let's say, argue about that. So, Then we say facts are neither influenced by nor based on personal feelings, because these are facts. So facts are not controversial because they have already been proved. And we say facts can be in the form of statistics or numbers. Well, almost the same. By statistics, we mean information in the form of numbers. Or they can be results of a research or an experiment. So once we have an experiment, like a scientific one, once we have, for example, a research, and then later we come up with some facts. When, for example, the experiment or the research shows, for example, something, we say this is established as a fact because it's been proved. There are examples here. We say China has 300 million smokers who consume about 1.7 trillion cigarettes a year. This is a fact because this has been proved using probably some research. So we say this is statistical fact. Another example is when we breathe through our nose, we always inhale more air than, with one nostril than with the other. This changes every 15 minutes. Well, this is a scientific fact that has already been proved. On the other hand, we have opinions. Well, the name itself suggests what we mean by opinions. We mean the statements that actually depend on our personal opinion and our idea. Like, for example, when we express our opinion towards something, saying whether we think it's beautiful or not, whether we think it's good or not, whether we think it's comfortable or not. This is personal opinion because we may like something, but while others don't. So this is what we mean by opinions. And we say opinions can be argued and questions. Whatever we, let's say, discuss, whatever seems to be controversial is an opinion, because this is something that we try to talk about. So let's say to get the other people to, let's say, be persuaded. Examples are, we say women make better chefs than men. This is just an opinion, which might not be true. We say students in rural areas do not like to learn English. Again, this is an opinion. And bilinguals are better academic achievers. So these are all examples of opinions that have not been proved yet. But once there is a research or an academic study that shows, for example, each of these opinions are actually true, they turn into facts.